already live on TikTok. You're going live on YouTube. And first of all, if you can just mount it and step back, I want to see you in the regular TikTok. You're going live in a regular Omani attire. I want to people see how a regular Omani attire look like.
Oh, I should wear it right now. So I
No.
wear.
Yeah, what you got just have. This is the casual. This is Omani
Yeah,
casual.
this is the casual, yes.
Yeah.
But in order to wear something, in order to be formal, I need to wear something on my head.
Yeah. So, but this is the informal, so to say. I have seen you when you go home, and you get from your regular Omani attire out of your regular Omani attire, and you get into this clothing. And this is very common in Arabian Peninsula. As a matter of fact, in everywhere where there is a hot climate and desert climate, people have similar attire. Enlighten us. Why? I mean, for American, certainly most of the time, we don't understand the delicacy of the climate and so on. Tell us, what is this? Why this attire is tuned to the geography?
See, white clothes always keep you cooler, especially in the hot summer. If the temperature around 50 or 45 with huge humidity, you need to reduce that temperature. So white just reflects the heat and keep you feel comfortable, frankly. Especially if it was very humid.
What is it? Is it a cat in the background?
Yeah, that's a cat, yes. Oh, they follow you. I think they follow Amanda.
Yeah, they know I'm there.
So, no, I, if possible, I'm not sure if it's possible, but if not, I can go and look up on internet. This is an attire. It's a one-piece clothing that goes from neck down, and it goes all the way to the ankle. Correct?
Yeah. Yes, correct. So let me put it there.
And what's the material? What's it made out of?
Sorry?
What's the material?
The material, I'm not sure, but normally it is from cotton.
Cotton.
Or mix of material.
Yeah, and it's cotton because it breathes and it let the air in and out. It let the perspiration out, and obviously it let the air circulate, and it's create its own climate, its own inside. And obviously heat is a big deal in the desert. And our podcast name is Surviving the Desert, but you do more than surviving the desert, Abdul Wahid. You enjoy, you glorify the desert. I was with you there, and I cannot describe to our audience, the feeling when you are in the desert, this wide open sky, these sand dunes, especially at sundown and sunset. It is a serenity that I don't believe you can really get anywhere else. And but describe, for you, it's like going camping. When we went to the desert, one of the surprises for me was that how cold it can get in the night. I have heard it always in the books and so on, that how cold it can be. But let's describe to us the Omani desert, the climate, and so you do these tours as well. So you must, you're an expert to describe to people like us, what is the Omani desert about? Tell us, enlighten us.
Hamid, first, I am not an expert, frankly. So not a real expert.
For us, you are. For us, you are.
I guess no, but not an expert. And also, I can tell you, surviving in the desert, that's an art. That's another thing which need a training, but there's a lot of lesson required when you go to survive in desert. The first one, don't cross the desert in one car. You need to be at least 3 cars. You need to know when you deflate or inflate the tires, how can you rescue person who are stuck. And there are so many material, and if everything's fell down, how to rescue yourself by knowing the nearest road or a point of entry, how to make fire. It is like being lost in a wood or any other item.
So, but you packed so many information together. First of all, you said never do it alone. Be multiple cars so you can rescue each other, because you will get stuck. And you remember, we did get stuck a little there.
Yeah, many times.
but obviously being with many car, meaning that, you know, having as well more contact to the ground, maybe having ropes, maybe having something that you can pull each other out of that. But as well, you said something about, you know, inflating tires. Describe to that, because I wasn't familiar with that. When we went there, describe when we went there. What is the first thing before when we entered the desert? What did we do and why?
Yeah, so the first things, you need to deflate the pressures of the tires, so the tire will be wider. And with a wider tires, the tires will not stuck on the desert. And of course, you need to have the right car, the right driver. So even if you have the right car and deflate it, but you don't have the right driver, you will not survive at all.
Yeah.
So all of those factors are important. Also the right tires, like the tires of the snow, maybe, which you have it there.
Yeah. Now, and it's interesting you say that the driving on the sand in the dunes is had lots of similarity with driving on the snow. It's all about the traction. I remember when we went there, the first thing we did, we went to a workshop, autocar workshop, and we deflated all the tires, and I was concerned, can you even drive it? Because you told me the pressure that you kept in the tire was around 10-15 psi.
Yeah.
That is, or
10 to 20.
10 to 20. And
it depends how soft is the sand.
Yeah, and what I noted, what I was very surprised that, you know, you could even drive with that kind of pressure at all. I mean, you know, if my car, but for people who don't know, the regular tire pressure in the United States is usually around 30 to 35 psi, pound per inch of pressure, square inch of, you know, that's how the pressure is calculated. But when you go to the sand, we reduce the pressure all the way down to somewhere between 10 and 20. And you said that sometimes you can and you should go even lower. And as a matter of fact, on the way back, I noticed somebody got stuck in the sand, and we went out to help them. And that was another thing that I was really amazed that, you know, people help each other. If you're in the desert, you help each other. Because if you don't help each other, you are in a bad situation. But I remember you had a pressure gauge in your car. First thing you did, you went and reduced his car pressure. And you told that was the operator mistake. That was he was not very experienced in the desert travel. What does it take? So not alone, we reduce the pressure, and then tell us about, you know, what else should one be aware of when they're entering the desert?
See, first, of course, the clothes. You should know how to drive in the desert, because there is a technique. Reduce the pressure, have the right equipment, have the right company. All of that will be important. But yes, reducing the tire pressure, people will think they will lose control. It is the opposite. In the desert, you will have a better control when you reduce the pressure. However, if you go to the on-road, again, you need to increase it. Otherwise, you will lose the control. Reducing the pressure, sometimes it's risky also in the desert, because the tire will get out of the wheel, and you need to refit it. But the people who knows how to refit it quickly, they can do it in 5 minutes.
Okay, so you put the tire back on the rim. That is, you see,
yes,
you lose that. So you have to have as well equipment to do that. Okay, well,
yes,
you are in the desert.
Infilator, frankly, what you need. You don't need equipment. People do it with a normal air inflator.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now you are in the desert. When we were in the desert, we didn't just have traveling the desert. We had a 5-star luxury experience in the desert. And this is something you built. You and your team. Tell us about who you are and what your. Tell us about the experience you're creating for American audience. And Amanda, as well, you kick in, and you as well, you put your input because you were there as well. That experience was really out of ordinary. But tell us about your company, what it is, what you guys do. Tell us about yourself.
So first we were hosted there in the 5-star, and really it is 5 stars, if not more, by our friend Ali Al-Hajri. So Ali, he built like a camp in the desert. However, he's providing 5-star services there with very delicious food. Maybe you notice how he cook it, and he provides that quiet environment for everybody to like it. However, with very luxury or comfortable service providing. Our company is different. We are a service provider, so we took people to places where they will enjoy risky places like canyons, caving, desert, etc. to cross them, hiking, very high upselling. This is very photo of very delicious food. Maybe you can see the
food. It was camel.
Yeah, the camel meat and the Omani bread.
Yeah.
So that's what we do. We took people to experience their fear. Last week or yesterday, we went to upsailing of 150 meters, and that was very scary experience, frankly, because when you go down using only a ropes for 150 meters, that's a unique experience.
So how many people came with you yesterday on your excursion?
We were 10.
10?
But it was all the team members of the company. So Haitham and another 8 people, we were together. Mainly before taking people, we'll go and experience the place by ourselves, train ourselves. So yesterday was training for the company.
Yeah. So, and your company have this, I would say, quite luxurious tent right in the middle of the desert. And I remember that these tents are about probably 100 feet apart, and they are on some they're above the ground. They're above the ground. And I was asking myself, I'm trying to find a picture of it. Why do you build them above the ground? Do you want to explain to us that accommodation that you have built there? And
that camp was built by our friend, so it is like a friend's company. But why he built it above? So he will prevent the sand to come to it, exactly. The insect, all of those what's called small animals like snakes, not to come to it. So, and people who will be there, they will feel more safer, will stay on higher places than the ground.
Yeah, and Abdul Wahid was saying, I think we had a little bit of a glitch in the connection. Was saying that are built on above the ground for literally prevent the sand and the creatures like snakes and other animals to get in. And believe me, desert is not dead. Desert is alive. There are lots of life is going on in the desert. And yeah, tell us a little about the in Oman is not only made of deserts. Oman has all different climate, like mountains. You just were in the mountains, and it is because it's a coastal. It has a huge shores at the Indian Ocean and the Gulf of Oman, and it has as well the mountains right next to the coast are the mountains, and then the desert. But we don't really know Oman, and most of us probably think that Oman and Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates, they have the similar geography and climate. Describe a little about the experiences that you can have in Oman beside the desert?
Yeah, desert is one element. Many people like the desert because in the desert maybe you will experience the car will. You need a strong car and you would enjoy how to drive it. But we have a lot of caves, a lot of mountains, and we have one of the biggest caves in the world. So you will enter in one cave, so you'll go down by 100 meters, after that 90 meters, after that 50 meters, abseiling inside the cave, and after that you have to walk around 9 kilometers underground from one cave and exit from another cave after 9 kilometers.
Wow.
Inside those caves, even you will have some waterfall, you will have a lot of water, a lot of beautiful crystal things, and those crystal will be in very nice shapes. So you will be surprised how beautiful those shapes. In one of them, you will have a place called the Crystal Hall, and it is full of crystal, in which you will be surprised how it is enlightening. I have some kids playing behind me also.
That's okay. We want to see everybody. So,
Yes.
now, tell us about, one of the things I noticed in the desert, and it was obviously February, it was January, February, it was the winter, and it was scorching hot in the day, but I noticed how cold and wet everything was in the night. I remember everything when the sun went down a few hours later, and I remember that we were on the campfire, but everything that we touched, it was actually completely wet.
Yep.
You, in for your foresight, you bought the attire. You looked at me and said, "This fool man, how is he coming to the desert?" You got me this abaya. This abaya.
Yeah, abaya.
Yeah. So
they call it farwa in Saudi.
Farwa, okay. So and at the night, I was very thankful that you actually got that, because everything was like, even the tire of the car, everything was wet.
Yeah.
I think that is how life can survive in a desert. And we cannot talk about the survival in the desert without talking about this.
Exactly, because if you go to, first, that desert was around 100 kilometers from the sea, and in that desert you can survive in many days by collecting the dew drops, and the dew drops can help you to survive. By the way, my wife's name is Dew Drops. She is nearby me right now.
Oh, well, we want to see her. We want to see her.
Yeah, let's say hi.
Okay.
Yeah, let's say hi.
She is coming right now. But in the other desert, like in Saudi, when you are in Saudi, the weather will be much colder. So in the winter, it may go to -0. That's mean below 32. And it will be very dry. So that will be really freezing.
And that is interesting. You said you can collect the dew and make water out of it.
Yes, that's how the people used to survive.
Now,
this is my wife. She's here. She will join me.
Well, we are looking forward to see her.
Yeah,
there.
Hello, Dr. Abbasi. How are you?
Very good. How are you?
Nice to meet you. We hear a lot about you.
Well, thank you
so much. He was with my mother yesterday. She's very thankful.
Yeah. We know all your adventure. Glad that you have a pleasant stay in Oman and you like the adventure.
We loved it.
We loved it.
Hi, Amanda. How are you?
Hello. Hi. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Well,
hopefully that you will join us soon.
We are looking forward to that. Now, sorry to take your husband away for the time we were there, but
he used for that.
I get used to do that actually. No, he's disappearing for big emission than this actually, like yesterday.
Now, he's a great guide. He doesn't
Yeah.
just take you places,
Indeed, yeah.
but he
Thank
makes
you.
you understand. He makes you understand. He then, I can say I for myself, I'm richer in my understanding of the geography, history, even music. He was even educating us. He's a born
Music.
educator.
Not too much for music.
Last 2 weeks, yeah. Last 2 weeks, I have like two Australian experts. They came for one of the conference that I was organized, and I told him nobody will take them around unless you. So I booked him for 3 days. Actually,
Wow.
to take him around and to take him all the geographic Oman, which is near Muscat, actually. So I trust him on that, actually.
And we give him a 5-star review. So,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's really nice of you.
now, I understand sometimes you and your family, you go together to the desert, and that is like what would be like a picnic. Now,
Yes.
so tell us about that. When you take your family to the desert, what are the activities that you guys do there? Like, did you this weekend? I'm sure you didn't take your children to the desert, right? But when you do that, this is the family time, Omani style. Tell us, what are the activities you guys do when you go there?
So they will have sliding on the sand dune. There are some toys to slide on them. They can play different things, barbecue, of course, in the desert. Having fire and just sitting around the fire and chatting, that's also itself very nice atmosphere. So I took the kids since they are very young to the desert. We stay, and one time I was with Nada and the 2 kids. They were 2 and 5, I think, or 2 and 6. And we stuck in the desert at 2 a.m. and temperature was almost 0. That's mean 32.
Wow.
And nobody was nearby us. So we had to do some adventure to rescue ourselves from the desert while all the kids were crying.
So tell us about the adventure. How did you rescue yourself? What the problem was? It was only cold, or did you get stuck in the sand?
No, we stuck in the sand because at 2 a.m. we were leaving, and one guy, he came with his car and he was driving very fast from nowhere, so he stuck. So I went to rescue him. So after rescuing him, he said, do you need any help? We trapped
Instead of him, and he's gone.
And he left.
Yeah.
So we had to do the swinging on the desert. If you are trapped in the desert, you need to do swinging of the car. So front and you go front and
back and forth. Yeah,
we do that to get out of the snow.
Yes. But when you are alone at 2 a.m. with 2 kids and panicking wife.
Yeah, I escaped from the car, actually. I escaped from the car, then I go just climbing all this because it was like big hole. Very big hole, sand. So I escaped and I told him, you have to run by yourself. I will go alone. When you are ready, tell me.
He told me that when we went to the desert, that you have to have a shovel with you. I'm happy you didn't use the shovel to bury him right there.
Yes.
I'll think about this. Good idea.
Yeah, but that's a very important tool.
Now, but when you go there, I remember when we were driving in the back of the car, I was hearing a big container of water, just the water slapping around.
Yeah.
So for a family of 4, when you go to the desert, how much water do you take with you in gallon or liter?
Frankly, that's water was not for drinking, but it depends how, if you want the water for drinking, for rescue, it depends how far will you be, for how long, all of those factors, you need to keep it. That's water, we kept it for a device. So I have a brother who invented what's called devices for the desert. So he has this, yes, he has a company called Afkarios. Afkar means thoughts, and the Greek Afkar, thoughts, and so it is thotios, like the Greek things. And that device called the hot box. So you can hot your water using the car engine. So you can get a hot shower in the middle of the desert. He has some other. Yeah, and he has some other equipment also, which if you're stuck in the desert, you can press a button and a hydraulic system will come from under the car and take you out of the stucking in the desert. So you don't need to do all of anything. Another one, you can deflate. If his car right now, it's equipped with the machine in which he did all the programming for that, in which you can inflate and deflate the tires of the car while you are sitting on your wheel. By a dashboard in the car. So it is fully automated. You can deflate or inflate the tires while sitting on in front of your wheel, and even while you are driving.
Well, driving in the desert in the US and in the off-road is a big deal as well. I think you guys are on something. You should actually come and provide this to American certain car maker. And because I think that you are on something fantastic, like you using the heat of the engine to warm up the car, water for personal use, using, and by the way, if you're in a place that extra water can always come handy, and as well, what you just described, that hydraulic, that, you lift yourself out of the place. I think you are on something major. So my hat off to you. I love to talk to your brother about those things. That we need those things here in the snow. Snow and sands are very similar in their behavior.
Yes.
No, go ahead, please.
Yeah, you met him. My older brother. You and Amanda also met him.
Yeah. And by the way, Amanda and I, we would like to maybe in another time invite you and your older brother, the inventor, to talk about the Omani culture and history. We are really looking forward to that as well. Now, what I was very surprised about Oman is that in a desert country that has desert shores and so on, how well the infrastructures are. That is a subject for a different, maybe for a different podcast. But I was really surprised that when we went to the desert, we were on a fantastic roads, highways, all the way until we went to the desert. And you told me that all this infrastructure has been developing in the last 10 years. And I think that is a
40 years.
In the last 40 years, that now it is a place that is really ready to absorb a lots of tourism. And I think for people who are watching this, Oman is one of the most underutilized place regarding the tourism. It's a fantastic infrastructure, fantastic banking, internet. As you are seeing, we are podcasting directly from the desert. So if somebody is thinking about having an experience in the Arabian Peninsula, I wholeheartedly recommend Oman. Amanda, what would you want to add to this, and what other question do we have for Abdul Wahid?
Well, just to add to what you just said, another reason why Oman is great for American tourists is because everything there is in English. So it was really easy to communicate and find your way around.
And it was interesting that when we were invited, even with Dr. Jahbari's little children, they were all speaking English, and English is not a barrier there, because I think the education and the language and all the signs and so on, it's so the infrastructures are ready for American to go there and have a fantastic time. So we wholeheartedly recommend that get this experience, the experience of the lifetime. As a matter of fact, Amanda, you told me something about your trip there. What did you tell me?
It was the best trip of my life.
Glad you like it. Thank you, Amanda Hamid. Frankly, as per global ranking, we have one of the best roads in the world. So after France and maybe UAE, but we are ranked at the top 3 or top 10 always on the electricity penetration is amazing in Oman. So you will have electricity in all the villages, even remote places. You can drive 100 or more kilometers where very remote area, but it will be covered by electricity, internet, etc. So all of those factors really make us a very good destination, and looking to see you all again.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. Now, I think this is just the beginning of a long series of podcasts. We want to know everything about your culture. And so, Amanda, we want, please be on top of this. We want to know about your culture, about your history, about your geography, about the position and the value of the woman in Omani society. We noticed that this is a very family-oriented society. How the family holds together, in most of the Western country, the value families, the value cohesion is eroding. Not much in Oman. I noticed, how the whole family is as almost like a one unit through the life, and that was for me truly amazing. And we want to know all about that. Now, I know the sun is going down in your place, and
now under the light of my wife's phone.
Don't worry, we can control everything here.
Thank you.
I see that. I see that. Now, but I'm hoping that we can make create a series of informational podcasts to teach our audience here about the beauty and value and the values and everything we can know about the Omani culture. So, but I'm, this is just a beginning of our series, I'm hoping. So I'm going to let you go. I know the kids are in the car, but before I finish the podcast, I just want to say I was extremely thankful. When I was there, I felt like a Omani, and I was proud to be there. And it was for me truly an experience of the lifetime. And I want to thank you, both of you, especially you, Abdulwahid. You took your time, and you even entertained my sister, who I haven't seen them for so long, for 7 years. And they felt that they have a second brother in Oman, and they felt so taken care of there. I really want to thank you from bottom of my heart, taking even not only me and Amanda, but as well even taking care of my sisters. So I'm in debt to you. Thank you very much.
No, not at all, Doctor. I didn't do anything. This is my pleasure. And say hi to your sister, please.
I will.
Shahin and Zara.
Yes.
And we are looking to see them again here, frankly.
Yeah. Amanda, please, did you have any comment or closing?
No, I think it'd be fun if we had you on one time just to have you tell some stories, like you do the talking and tell some stories about the desert. I think that would be so exciting, and our listeners would love that. That's one of the things that I really enjoyed during my time with you and in the desert, was hearing all of your guys' crazy stories, getting lost and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah,
I have a lot of stories, don't worry.
The fallen star, don't forget. How يتنجم? The fallen star.
The fallen star. Yeah, you want to tell that story before we close?
No, I will not tell it now. That's a small secret which we tell the people in private, frankly.
I see. So for people, there is a hole in the desert where there is a pool of water with lots of small fish who come and take your dead skin, eat your dead skin. But we stop there. Abdulwahid will tell us that story another time.
Yeah, on another time. And maybe what we can do, Hamid, frankly, in one of our trips, so we will cover our trips live if you wish, or we send you a video for it which cover what we do in the canyon and the cave, etc., which could be presented.
Absolutely.
That'd be awesome.
That would be an awesome experience. Okay. Well,
sure.
Thank you. It's getting dark there, so I thank you so much for taking time and joining us.
Thank you, Hamid, Amanda.
And
thank you.
Hello to the all family, please.
Of course.
Sure.
Thank you.
We'll do
Sure.
that. I will tell them all. Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you,
Remember-
Amanda. Goodbye.
Remember to
Bye-bye,
change
thank
your routine.
Sure. Yes, I will tell them. Thank you.